Let's put it all together. Sketch the graph of f of x equals -3 times sine of the quantity pi x minus pi minus 1. Include at least 2 periods and label 3 points. The first thing I want to do is put this in factored form, and that means factoring the inside. So f of x equals -3 times the sine of, I'm going to take out that pi and think about what would be left over. Well, pi x divided by pi is x, and pi divided by pi is 1. And then I still have my minus 1 on the outside. So let's determine the midline. The midline of this function is y equals -1, and I get that from this minus 1 on the outside. The amplitude will be the absolute value of -3, which is 3, and I get that from this -3 being multiplied on the outside. The period I get from taking 2 pi and dividing by the number being multiplied by x, which is pi. So absolute value of pi, that gives me 2 pi over pi, which is 2. What about shifting? Which one do I use? Well, shifting to the right, I have this minus pi and this minus 1. Well, the way that we construct these graphs, we need to use the factored form when determining our horizontal shifts. So I can see that I'm just going to use this as shift right 1 unit. And I can see, because I had a -3 out here, that I'm going to have a vertical reflection. But because this pi here is positive, I don't have any horizontal reflections. All right, now I am ready to make my graph. I'm putting my horizontal axis about 1/3 of the way down, or maybe 2/5 of the way down, and then my vertical axis just in from the left side. I can see that the period is 2, so I want to, let's see, I could even have it be a little longer, so like make it so that, let's see, I have 4 ticks total to make 1 period, and then 4, I could do more than that if I want. Again, it's up to you. And now for drawing, my midline will be at -1. If I want to know how high or low my graph will go, I can do -1 plus 3 is 2, so it's going to have a maximum height of 2. -1 minus 3 is -4, so the minimum will be a -4. So let's see if I can fit that on here. Okay, great. I can fill in my other numbers if I need to. All right, let's draw my graph. So first thing I always draw in is my midline. Okay, and then I know that the top of the box is going to be, let's see, 3 above that, so like up here, and the bottom of the box will be at 3 below, so down here because of my amplitude. And then where am I going to start the box? Well, the start of the box needs to start at x equals 1 because I'm shifting the start. So my original start kind of thing, we can start anywhere, right? The domain is all real numbers, but we normally start at thinking about drawing it at x equals 0. So original start at x equals 0. Now, because of the shift right 1 unit, I'm going to start at x equals 1. So draw my box starting at x equals 1. Well, how far is my box going to go? Well, the box needs to go 1 full period, which should be a length of 2. So I'm starting at 1, then I need to end at 3. Okay, so there is the box. And now I want to draw a sine function. Have I thought of everything? Well, when I go to draw, I need to consider any reflections. I have a vertical reflection. So that means instead of starting with a hill, I need to start with a valley. I need to draw in my 5 key points. First, I draw in the valley and then the hill. Again, typically, sine of x, right? We know that it starts like this. But because of the reflection, I need to start with the valley first in my graph. Okay, and then if I want to draw another one, because they want 1 more period, just draw the exact same box next to it. So it's like a copy paste. Again, draw in those 5 key points before you go to draw it. Makes it a little easier. I just had a peak, right, or a hill, so I'm going to start with a valley. And a hill. I'm going to ask for just 2 periods so I can end there if I want. All right, and then labeling 3 key points. So this one looks kind of nice. I can see it's 2.5 because it's in between 2 and 3, the height of 2. And then let's see, I have this one, which would be 5 comma negative 1. Make sure that negative is shown up there. And then maybe this one down here, 3.5 comma negative 4. Okay. We can, again, check this algebraically if we want to. Can make you feel like you are getting it right. So let's check this point here. F of 2.5 is negative 3 sine of pi x minus, oops, instead of x, I need 2.5 minus 1 minus 1. All right, so this big thing, let's see what to do. 2.5 minus 1 is 1.5. So the input for sine is going to be 1.5 pi. 1.5 pi is the same as 3 pi over 2. That might help us think about where it's going to be on the unit circle. Okay. Where's 3 pi over 2? Down here. That's where sine is, negative 1. Okay, I'm going to have to kind of go across instead of down because I run out of room here. Negative 3 times negative 1 minus 1. That's 3 minus 1, which is 2. So when I plug in 2.5, I get an output of 2, and that matches this point here.